Okay, I am live. Let me make sure my mic is on. It is on. And it's been a minute since I've been live on LinkedIn and YouTube. I'm streaming on both platforms. And I always like to check and make sure that I'm live in the respective places. And I am. Okay. I'm going to give it a few minutes for people to hop on, maybe just like 2 minutes. Today, it's going to be short and sweet. I have blocked out off an hour, but I don't like to go too long nowadays. I like to keep my messages short and sweet and to the point. And if it happens to go to an hour, that's okay. But I'm definitely not going to go over an hour. And I'm happy to be live, local, and late breaking once again. So, one more minute, and I would like to go ahead and get started. That was kind of loud. Okay, welcome everybody. So, I am going to be talking about LinkedIn as usual and how you can utilize it as a business owner in the clinical research space. And I'm really starting to get into like B2G and B2B government contracting and the language and things that you need to understand whenever you are stepping into that space, whether you're a site owner or you're an entrepreneur that's not a site owner and you're looking to get into those contracting spaces. There's a way you need to be presenting yourself on social media, which I've talked about this before, but it's kind of slightly different whenever you start getting into the B2G procurement systems. So, actually, yes, let's go ahead and get started. So, my name is Alicia Moore. I do have some new followers. Hello, how are you? I am the owner of Clinical Science Research Solutions, and I'm also the founder of my nonprofit organization called I Am Research and Wellness Foundation. We are actually certified as a minority woman business enterprise organization. And soon, of course, we will be announcing our certified Creole partnership this year, which we're really excited about. More of that to come. And then also we're working on our certification for the woman-owned small business enterprise. I say enterprise. And then we're going to be going for our national certification, WeBank. And then in that case, it's going to give me as an organization the ability to work with Fortune 500 companies and, so forth, and just having more opportunities to venture out as a business entrepreneur instead of just kind of being solely selected or solely in the clinical research space. I can, venture out even further into those bigger procurement systems. Not saying that clinical research is not big, but it opens up a different pathway in your career. So again, we're going to be talking about strategic LinkedIn positioning for clinical research organizations, from social presence to procurement. Again, we're going to be talking about building that institutional foundation. You're going to learn how to architect your profile and company page as a digital capability statement that's going to actually speak to your B2B and B2G buyers. This is for clinical research entrepreneurs, site owners, CRO leaders, MWBE, WSB, and WeBank suppliers, especially if you're new. Consultants are maybe not so new, 2 to 3 years, maybe 5 years in. Executives responsible for growth, partnerships, or procurement readiness at any stage of institutional positioning. We need to think about how you should be reframing your LinkedIn presence, only because CRO partners, hospital systems, federal agencies, and sponsors, they're not necessarily looking at you from a visibility standpoint. Yes, you're here, but can you be seen as a procurement asset? Are you treating LinkedIn like a marketing real estate tool, right? Or a platform? If you are, I'm going to ask you to stop. Because B2B buyers, your B2G buyers, they use LinkedIn as a passive way, a due diligence layer before formal engagement. So they're actually going through and looking at your profiles, your what you're talking about on social media before they even reach out and say, hey, or maybe have the meetings and say, hey, I think this will be a pretty good vendor to buy into. Because if you're not speaking their language, and I'll get into this a little bit later, if you're not speaking their language like anything else, you're not going to be attracted to them. You're not going to be viewed as procurement ready, and you're not going to be viewed as a problem solver. You know, we're all supposed to be problem solvers within our businesses, but you really have to dig deep whenever it comes to your bigger institutions and bigger organizations, because they're really looking to buy into something, and what they're buying is not cheap. You know, they spend millions and sometimes billions of dollars into business owners or clinical research trials in hopes that, hopefully, that we're able to solve some big, huge problem, right? So if you're getting into that space, then you have to position yourself as the problem solver, speaking their language, whatever that language may be, but it must be appropriate and targeted to, let's say, whether it's a CRO, whether it's a sponsor, whether it's a hospital, federal agencies, you need to be speaking to their language and creating outcomes or talking about the outcomes your services has to offer. That way it increases the trust, and it lowers the doubt factor, if you will, just like with anything else. All right, how do B2B buyers engage? So I should have had direct conversations as number one, but according to McKinsey and Company, your average, these B2B buyers, they use it on average 10 distinct channels before purchasing anything or before making any type of purchasing decisions. And one of the ones that you see on here is LinkedIn. A lot of your big time business owners or B2G, B2B clients, buyers, they're on LinkedIn. They're also looking at industry publications and articles. And it's not just one channel that they look at. As a matter of fact, you see there are at least 10 word of mouth referrals. They're looking at your company website. You need to at least have a company website. You really do. If you're a business owner, you need to have a company website. If your company website, you should have some kind of email list or some type of blog that maybe your marketing team is helping you write out. You should be doing some kind of either virtual events, in-person events, webinars. What kind of social proof do you have? And they also, of course, they use Google SEO, whatever business you are into, or whatever service you have to offer, whenever they get ready to create your either your website, or whenever they get ready to create content or your newsletters, your, let's say if it's clinical research site owner, well, clinical trials, those are some SEO words that should be implemented into some of the things that you're talking about on either LinkedIn or YouTube, your newsletters, something along those lines that's going to actually pull up your profile and scream like, oh, okay, yeah, as a buyer, we're going to go to this clinical research site because they actually have exactly what we need. Again, they look at social proof, procurement portals, and then, as I said, direct conversation should have been number one, because whenever you go to these conferences, or even if you have attend one of the virtual events, sometimes those small conversations, even introductory conversations, can lead to outside meetings, either with business development employees. And I'll say that from my experience, whenever I attended a webinar just not long ago, SBA was hosting the webinar, and we do our small introductions. I did my small introduction, and you're not selling anything, you're just telling people what you have to offer. And then I ended up meeting a business developer from SLU, St. Louis University, right there, one of the bigger universities in St. Louis, and we have connected already. And so conversations are going to be going back and forth in that area, based upon what problems I'm solving in Sikeston, Missouri, as an entrepreneur business owner. That conversation went really well, as I said, but the connection happened because I attended a virtual event. So again, whenever you're hosting some kind of event, or you have some kind of social proof, eventually you're going to pull in the people, or the crowd of people, or maybe somebody that works for the buyer, that's going to attract them to you, so you can, get on their radar maybe in the near future, so they can purchase your services. But you got to get yourself out there, right? Because that's where they are. That's where they're scouring for vendor opportunities, right? Or vendors to buy into. So how do institutional buyers evaluate vendors from a quantitative perspective and qualitative? According to Harvard Business Review research, it indicates that B2B purchasing groups now average between 6 to 10 stakeholders, each consuming information independently before consensus forms. The SBA and federal procurement guidance emphasizes that buyers evaluate vendors on capability, compliance, your past performance, risk mitigation, financial and operational stability. I want to kind of highlight the financial stability. Whenever you are getting into entrepreneurship and you are getting into either government contracting or even site ownership, you still need to be seen as a low financial risk. And I'll go ahead and speak on the government procurement part, because a lot of times it takes a while for the money, for the contracts to, for the money to be distributed. It may be a little while, a month or two. It's usually maybe 30 to 60 days, 30 to 90 days, which means that you need to have income coming in to either support yourself and maybe like the tech that you are using to deliver the services, and or you need to make sure you have enough money that you're able to pay your people that's helping you to deliver the services, your employees. So that's what I mean by financial stability. They don't want you to get into something and you're solely waiting for the government contract to go through within 2 weeks, because if that's the case, you're automatically setting yourself up for failure. So financial stability means that you have enough money either in the bank, or you still have reoccurring revenue coming in to help support you, even down to your basic needs. You don't want to be foolish enough to quit your day job and just go on this fairy tale land thinking that you're going to win a contract and the money's just going to flow through. That's just not how business, it just doesn't work that way. And as far as the operational stability standpoint, whenever you're going through and filling out these applications, these certifications, they're going to be asking you, first of all, who is the owner and who is making all the decisions, and do you have the means to actually operate your own business? You know, if you are looking to, I don't know, serve a client that has, if it's a $5 billion contract, do you have the employees to help you execute that $5 billion contract services? Because that's a pretty big one. It may require you to have several employees to do it, or it may require you to partner with another bigger organization or bigger business to help you execute that plan. So are you operationally stable, not stability, but stable? Past performance. Whenever you are even on your LinkedIn, and then as you're talking about speaking the buyer language and on your capability statement, you're going to have to talk about what you've done in the past. Now, if you're new into this, that means you can actually take what you've done at your job, like say for me, what I've done at the CRO level and the pharmaceutical level. I can take what I've done and use that as a past performance because of the services and things I have to offer. That way they can see that I have some kind of experience. If you don't list any kind of past performance, then you need to try to figure out a way of getting that kind of experience. And usually I'm hoping as a business owner, somewhere along the way, you have gained that experience, right? Let's see here. The procurement officers, they're trained to see you as somebody who is not at a high risk. They're not enthused. They're not buying into your inspirational ideas. They're buying your outcomes. They're buying the fact that you're saying that you can train so many individuals during a certain time period, and it reduces their cost, therefore, and it reduces the training time that employers have to deal with before they get to these employees, or before they hire the employees. You're able to reduce their time training on the job and those types of things. So they're not looking for you to, spill out all these inspirational ideas and think that you are going to win them over, because that's not how the procurement system works. The environment works. And again, can your LinkedIn profile answer any unspoken procurement questions? So that's really based on the services that you have to offer. Are you able to answer any kind of questions that is plaguing the specific part of the industry, right? Or if you're able to answer those questions in a way that is, again, solving a problem, then you're setting yourself as a reliable procurement asset to these bigger organizations, B2B and B2G clientele, right? Buyers. Let's see here. I always like to see if I feel like the screen is frozen. All right. So, questions your LinkedIn profile should answer. Can your organization deliver at scale? If you say that you can train 50 doctors in your Principal Investigators Academy, I always use myself as an example because it's easier and that's what I'm doing. And you're able to train them at a higher level, and they're able to get the experience. They know what they're doing. They're not coming out, not knowing what it takes to be a principal investigator. And you're able to do it and not, let me think. You're able to say the thing, whatever services you have to offer, you're able to deliver it, right? And can you deliver it on time? If they're asking you to deliver it within, I don't know, 6 months or a year, and then in between those time, I call them checkpoints, you're going to have to let them know like some updates. Are you able to do that? Do you understand the regulatory frameworks? Are they credible in high compliance environments? Do others validate them? That's where testimonials come in. That's where I wouldn't call it peer review. Your testimonials, that's where that comes in. And other companies that you work for, Are they able to validate, what you have? Are your employees, I don't know if that really counts, but somebody should be able to validate what you're doing, and it should scream, yes, you're reliable and you're truthful as to what you are, the business model that you have. Do they appear stable and structured? No company, vendor or buyer wants to buy into an organization that appears unstable. You are a financial risk. You don't understand any type of regulatory frameworks because that's very unattractive. And then, the confidence erodes. You don't want to erode the confidence before you even get started. So, digital credibility signals procurement officers. Digital credibility signals procurement officers. What are they looking for? So, research from Top Rank Marketing and Ascend 2 highlights fragmentation challenges. Oh, so 33% of senior marketers report limited visibility into performance across channels. 33% report over reliance on too few channels. Oh, and nearly 1/3 of buyers use Gen AI tools to discover thought leadership. So this means buyers are triangulating information across AI summaries, search engines, LinkedIn, peer communities, owned media. They're not necessarily asking, are you visible? What they're layering in is your message consistent everywhere? So high performing B2B organizations maintain narrative stability across every evaluation surface. What does that mean for you? If you are using LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, or Facebook, let's just say LinkedIn and YouTube. If you're using LinkedIn and YouTube as your social media platforms as a site owner, well, you shouldn't be going on YouTube talking about how to mow lawns. That's inconsistent. It's very inconsistent with your messaging. So they're not going to look at you and say, oh, you know what? Their messaging is consistent, right? Or if you are, I don't know, a bakery, you bake cakes, and then you turn around and you get on LinkedIn and you talk about how to play, what's the name of a game? Grand Theft Auto. My individual that I know some gamers. So the messaging is just not clear. It's not consistent across the platform. So if you're talking about site ownership on YouTube, you need to be talking about it on LinkedIn and whatever other topics that surround site ownership. LinkedIn, you use LinkedIn as a capability statement. I'm showing my capability statement as an example because traditionally, a capability statement is one page, it's structured, it's compliance forward, you got your differentiators on there, you've got your NACE codes, it's buyer centered, past performance. Of course, I need to clean mine up, change it up a little bit, but you understand it's nice, clean, to the point, and they only have a few seconds to look at this, but it's structured very, very well, which is speaking their language as far as having everything put together. So whenever you're thinking about and looking at your LinkedIn as a capability statement, digital capability statement, buyers use LinkedIn to confirm executive stability. So what they do is they assess thought leadership maturity. They evaluate industry alignment. Again, that kind of goes back to you talking about site ownership on LinkedIn, but then you're going on YouTube and talking about how to bake a cake. That's not how that works. Also, they're actually validating your organization and to understand whether your organization understands compliance language. So if your page reads like a founder enthusiastic company, rather than institutional positioning, it's going to create some friction. It's going to actually decrease the trust. Like, no, this is not the vendor I want to buy into. That's exactly what they're going to say. Or not say anything and just pass you by. Um, you have to reposition your thinking into the buyer's logic. You have to think like on their side. So, for instance, founder logic sounds like we're passionate about improving clinical research access. Well, the buyer logic sounds like we reduce site activation delays by implementing compliance aligned infrastructure and digital oversight systems. So, you see the difference? What you're saying, and at the top as a founder, we're just so excited about improving clinical research access. So I can say I'm excited about bringing clinical research to Sikeston, Missouri. Well, what is that doing? That's not really, it's not necessarily saying much. What it's saying, what I need to say is we are bringing clinical research into Sikeston, Missouri to increase workforce development, to increase patient diversity in clinical trials in a rural area, specifically in the African American community. So it's a bit of a difference, right? McKinsey research emphasizes that buyers prefer vendors who simplify complexity and reduce uncertainty. Remember the platforms that these buyers they go and seek out to see if you're legit, to see if you understand regulatory compliance. And I'm not going to go through all of these, but this just gives you an idea whenever you are, let's say, using LinkedIn as your platform. How are you using it? Do you have a company page? Are you utilizing LinkedIn newsletters? Are you going live? Are you creating thought leadership posts? Another one, again, I like to use myself as an example, a company website. Are you demonstrating that you are a woman-owned small business organization? Are you demonstrating that you are a minority woman business enterprise organization? Are you registered with sam.gov? Do you have your capability on your website? And then for me, whenever you go to my website, you see that we are a minority woman-owned business owner because we're using the logos. You'll see that we are certified Creole partners because we have the legal rights to use the logo. So again, your company website is going to tell a lot about what you have to offer and who you're partnering with. And you're not just doing it by yourself, because it's going to give them more reassurance as to why they need to buy into you as a vendor. Let's see. Procurement portals. I feel like those between the procurement portal and your website, and then maybe LinkedIn, I feel like those are the most important in direct conversations also. Procurement portals, whenever you get ready to register your business, you have to go to sam.gov. And if you are a minority woman-owned business owner, or you have your national certification, the WBENC or WSB, then you are going to be able to go to the supplier diversity portals and fill out those applications. And then you can go to university vendor systems, you can go to hospital vendor systems and pharma supply registration. Those systems, you can fill out those applications. I will tell you, for like a lot of your hospitals, they do have supplier portals, but some of them come with a fee because they do a background check before they allow you into their procurement portal. Obviously, direct conversations is very important whenever you have like a discovery call, conferences, you're out there networking, DM messaging. Initially, whenever you DM someone, you need to just really introduce yourself, let them know like, hey, you are excited or thrilled to be connected with them. And you would eventually like to have a kind of conversation with them, just to get to know them and maybe a little bit about what you do as a business owner, and just kind of allow that relationship to build over time. And again, you can kind of read through this. Oh, social proof, as I mentioned before, testimonials, case studies, partner badges, like the one we have with Creo. Those signal trust because, again, those companies have vetted you out, which means bigger companies like that, like CROs, academic institutions, sponsors, they already trust companies like Creo. So whenever you partner with companies like Creo, what that's saying is Creo, they made a good business decision to partner with you. So it's going to make it a little bit easier for those bigger organizations to actually do business with you, right? You're not just doing this going into it alone. And then also, whenever you partner with organizations such as Creo, or whenever you get these certifications, it's going to place you in positions that you would not be able to do on your own. And, that's okay. That's just how it goes. It's part of being a business owner. So whenever you think about your LinkedIn presence, your social media presence, you need to do like a self audit to make sure you're procurement ready. So one of the questions you need to ask yourself, does my LinkedIn headline communicate buyer outcomes? Not just inspirational posts. Do they communicate what the buyer is looking for? And if you don't know what the buyer is looking for, then what you need to do is a market analysis. You need to figure out what the pain point is. And that really goes back to the foundational information that I have touched on before. You figure out what a pain point is in the industry. Once you find that out, then you can build your services and may take a little tweaking along the way. Once you have that down to a T for a while, then you can go for these certifications. You can actually go on these websites, institutional websites, sponsor CROs. You can see what's going on in the industry and then take it from there. And then you should be able to speak the buyer's outcome based upon what problems are in the industry. So the second one is my featured section proof driven? Do you have any testimonials? Do you have anybody that is recommending you on your LinkedIn page? If not, go ask someone to do so. You've got to know someone that feels comfortable enough to give you a recommendation or a testimonial to whatever products and services you have to offer. The third thing is, does my about section reflect compliance fluency? Are you, again, speaking that language? Do you ensure that you can tell the buyers that you understand what compliance means? Not just you saying it, but have you implemented that? And if so, how did you do it? And then the fourth thing is, would a procurement officer perceive your operation as stable? Are you demonstrating that you have stability within your business? If not, then you're not ready to get into the procurement space. And those are not the only procurement assessments you should be doing for yourself and for your organization. Again, there are plenty more, but tomorrow, we're going to talk about some of the content that you actually should be implementing on like your websites or in your LinkedIn newsletters or webinars and those types of things. So, and these are the references that I've used. There's some pretty good references out here that you can actually go and look up all kinds of data, what it says about being on LinkedIn, what really matters on LinkedIn, the algorithm, and how LinkedIn rewards you for certain thought leadership content. And then it's going to drive you to whoever your audience is, your ideal client. Then you can start curating your information or your content around your ideal client in a thought leadership manner. Let's see. We have come to the end of this webinar or masterclass. It was short and sweet and to the point. As I said, I don't like to really go over, honestly, 30 minutes nowadays because I have other things going on in my life. And I think it's okay to have short masterclasses. Let's see. I'm going to look to see if we have any questions. And if not, then I will see you all tomorrow, day 2. Let's see. And I also want to let you all know this masterclass, it may be free for a limited time. I haven't decided yet. So if you are not tuned in, I suggest you tune in right now. Let's see here. Are there comments? Let's see. Credible recommendations. Yvonne, I see. What was this? 14 minutes ago. I'm not seeing any comments popping up. Hold on. It's showing 3 people. That's so strange. Oh, here we go. Let me mute this right quick. I guess there's like a huge lag time. Credible recommendations. Can you expand? And hello, Yvonne, how are you? Can you expand upon that? Or what did I miss 14 minutes ago? Many thanks for the info shared. Most appreciated. You're welcome. Do you have any questions? Let me know. What's your guidance for B2B deep tech solution providers for the CROs? That's a good question. I would have to come back to that. I have an answer in mind, but I don't want to answer it incorrectly. What's your guidance for B2B deep tech solution providers for the CROs? I got to think about that one, Narish. As I said, I almost feel like I can answer that question, but I don't want to answer it wrong. I do know with all the tech that's out here, it is cumbersome for a lot of sites. And I can remember whenever I got into the industry, it was just too many tech portals you had to. It was too many tech portals you had to log into, and to me, that is very time consuming. And so I think the more simple the tech, the easier it is for the CROs. Yeah, align with me on that one. Sharing information that is helpful to have credible recommendations. You are doing fine. You're welcome. Yeah, Narish, please, you can message me and provide a little bit more context to your question. Now, you're sharing a website. Okay. So, what is this? Can you tell me what the website is all about? Kind of like a little synopsis. I could look it up, but it'll take me too long. I'll do it after the live, actually. Yeah, I mean, thanks. I don't like to go for too long because, as I said, I have a lot to do. And as a matter of fact, I have to start recording my PI module 1 course. I'm hoping this week. So I've got to get that content all gathered up. But the goal for me is to go live on LinkedIn once a month for 3-day stretches. I was doing 4, but I think that's just a little too much right now. But yeah, you need to speak the buyer language. You need to be credible on all social media platforms, and your messaging needs to be clear all the way through. That way, you are not seen as being all over the place and, just not a very good vendor to buy into. I mean, what are you offering here? Are you going to offer ice cream services? Or are you a site owner that is offering, sponsors and CROs, untapped market? Which one is it? So, whatever your market is or whatever your business model is, you need to be talking about the same thing consistently on all platforms. If nothing else, I know we still have a little less than 30 minutes. I'm going to end this today, right now, and then I'm going to see you tomorrow for day 2. Accelerate clinical research with intelligent insights. Is this a business that you own? You know what? I haven't done this before. Do you want to come on live? Narish, if you want to come on live, I can give you the link. Maybe I'm putting you on the spot there. You too, Michael. Enjoy your evening. I hope you learned something. And then, of course, you guys, if there's questions and things that you have that maybe I didn't touch on in this presentation, inbox me, and maybe I can do like a Q&A, build up like a Q&A, and then go live. Oh, you want to come on? Okay, hold on. Yes. So I'm putting the link in the chat. And I'll wait for you to come on. I'm also going to send it to your LinkedIn DMs. Let's see, to make sure you get it. As I said, there's a bit of a delay going on here. Yeah, my internet is slow. Oh, here we go. Um, oops. Okay, Narish, I've sent you the the link to StreamYard so you can come on. Oh, you're dialing. Oh, wow. You're dialing in from Singapore. Okay, I'll still wait. Is there anyone else that wants to hop on live and we can discuss this a little bit more? I think it'll make it a lot more interesting. Ah,
Hi, Alicia.
it's, hi.
Hey, good morning. I think there's
It's-
a significant delay happening here. Can you guys hear me? Hello? Can you guys hear me fine? Okay.
we can't hear you.
Okay.
Do you have anything hooked up to your computer, like earphones that you may need to take out? Because sometimes that's an issue.
I think the only thing is I've got some scripts running. Uh,
Yes, we can.
all right. Thanks, Sean. Well, quickly, I mean, I would definitely like to
Yvonne, do you want
align.
to hop on?
No, this is not going right.
Who else? Let's
All
see
right.
here.
Probably the next session I'll gotta wait a bit about.
Michael, if you're still here, do you want to hop on as well?
Yeah. Is it
You
is
don't
it
have
getting
to.
better?
You can hear him. For some reason, I can't hear him.
Uh, no, I
Let
guess
me let
I'll.
me try to add you back, remove you from the stage, and then I'll add you back. Oh, I guess. No, I would like to hear from Narish. Okay. We're waiting for him to come back, maybe. Everybody, I talk so much, I don't know what else to say right now. I am thinking about hosting a master class, not a master class, but an intensive workshop, if you will, for doctors that are wanting to become principal investigators. I'm thinking about doing that. I have a couple people that are interested. So it would be for on Saturdays once a month for like a full day, 8 to 3. So Yvonne says type in your info about your company. You know what we can do is I can end this live stream and then we can go live on a completely different. Um, let's see. Well, let's do it this way. Okay, sounds good. All right, everybody. Have a good evening. I'll be back tomorrow.